back for another deep dive
Yeah.
into some really fascinating financial ground
Let's do it.
that I think is going to be really helpful for a lot of folks. We're talking today about 15 personal finance lessons that everyone wishes they knew sooner.
Mm-hmm.
And we're drawing these from a whole bunch of different resources. So
Yeah.
we're really kind of getting a wide range of opinions and thoughts on this. So hopefully everybody listening can take away something that's useful for their own personal situation.
For sure. I mean, these are like the golden nuggets, right? Like we're sifting through all the noise and just giving you like the good stuff, the core principles.
The cheat sheet for
Yeah.
your finances. So one of the things that we see like right out of the gate with a lot of these resources is this emphasis on budgeting, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny, right? It's like,
I like that foundation.
it's like brushing your teeth.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, we all know we should do it,
Right.
but it's like, how many of us actually like
Right. Are we doing it effectively?
do it effectively and consistently?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's so important because it really is the foundation.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't know where your money's going,
Yeah.
how can you possibly expect to make it work for you?
You're lost. Yeah.
Right.
And I think what's interesting too is that so many people for so long thought about budgeting as this restrictive thing.
Oh, it's like a diet.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Like I'm denying myself, I'm
Yeah.
putting myself in a box.
Totally.
But I love that a lot of these resources frame it as empowerment.
Freedom. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's about knowing where your money's going so you can free it up
Yes.
to do the things that you really want to do.
Exactly. It gives you control.
Yes.
And it's never been easier, honestly, with all the apps and tools available.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Right.
Like, forget those spreadsheets, man.
Oh, I know.
You got Mint, you got Y&A.
Yeah.
You got all these things that make
It
it
does it for you.
like so easy.
Yeah. You just,
And even just like connecting your bank accounts
oh my gosh, yeah.
and just seeing it all laid out, it can be really eye-opening.
And it could be scary at first, right?
Sure.
Like, whoa, where's
Yeah.
it all going?
But that's the first step.
It is? Yeah, exactly. That awareness.
You got to face the reality before you can change it, right?
Absolutely. All right, so budgeting, super important. Check on that foundation of everything.
Foundation.
The next one is one of my favorites to talk about, and that's the magic of compound interest.
Ooh.
And I'm using the word magic intentionally because it really does feel like this superpower, you know,
especially when you let it do its thing over time. Right?
over time. Yeah. And this is something that comes up again and again in different forms in this resource.
Yeah. And it's one of those things that's like almost deceptively simple.
Right. It is.
It's like you earn interest on your money and then that interest earns interest.
It's like a snowball.
It's exactly like a snowball rolling down a hill.
And the bigger it gets,
The bigger it gets.
the faster it picks up speed.
Exactly.
And the more it accumulates.
And it's so powerful because, you know, a lot of people, they think about investing and they're like, oh, I need to have like thousands of dollars to start.
Right, right.
But the reality is like even starting with a small amount
Yes.
and letting that compound over time can make a huge difference.
Absolutely. And the sooner you start, the more time it has to work its magic.
Exactly.
So this is like the ultimate argument against procrastination when it comes to your finances.
Oh, 100%. Don't wait. Even if you can only put in a little bit, start now.
Yes, start now.
Because that time is so valuable.
And one thing that this resource really emphasizes is the importance of an emergency fund, right? Like before you even really dive into the investing,
Oh my gosh, yes, yes.
you need that safety net.
It's like the foundation before the foundation, right? Like before you can even start building the house.
Exactly.
You got to make sure that you're secure.
Yeah.
Because life happens, right?
Oh, it does.
You lose your job, you have a medical emergency, your car breaks down.
And these things always seem to happen at the worst possible time.
Always. Always.
When you don't have the money.
Right. When you're already stressed.
So this resource recommends having 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved.
Yeah. That's like a good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
And it might seem like a lot.
It does seem as a big number.
But honestly, like the peace of mind that
Yeah.
it gives you is priceless.
Absolutely.
Because if something happens, you're not panicking.
You're not racking up credit card debt
Exactly.
to cover it.
You're not like putting yourself in a worse financial situation.
Yes, exactly. You're prepared.
Exactly.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah. Being prepared for those rainy days, right?
All right, so we've got budgeting, we've got compound interest, we've got emergency funds, all really important stuff.
The basics.
But now let's talk about something that can really derail your finances if you let it. High interest debt.
Ooh, yeah, that's a scary one.
It is a scary one. And I think we all know intuitively that it's bad, right?
Right. Like, nobody wakes up and is like, I want more high interest debt.
Nobody.
But it can be so easy to fall into, right?
It is easy, yeah.
Yeah. Especially with credit cards.
Credit cards are definitely.
Oh, so easy to swipe.
And then you're like, oh, I'll pay it off later, and then later never comes, or it comes with a vengeance in the form of
huge interest charges.
Huge, yes.
It's like they're making money off of you.
Yeah.
For you spending your own money.
It's true. And so this resource really stresses the importance of understanding high interest debt, what it is, how it works.
Yeah, like what are the interest rates on your credit cards? Do you even know?
A lot of people don't.
Yeah.
And then, it talks about strategies for tackling that debt.
Oh, absolutely. Because knowledge is power, right?
It is.
Once you understand it, then you can start to take control of it.
Yeah. And there's specific strategies, right? Like we're not just going to say, don't spend money. Like that's not helpful.
No, nobody wants to hear that.
No, exactly.
Like give us some actionable steps, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this resource talks about things like the avalanche method and the snowball method.
So the avalanche method, that's like, you're tackling the biggest
debt first.
The highest interest rate, right? Yeah. You're like, I'm going to knock this out first because it's costing me the most money.
And then you have the snowball method, which is more about building momentum.
Yeah, that's like the psychological one, right?
Yeah.
You start with the smallest debt, you knock it out.
You get that win.
You feel good. You're like, all right, I can do this. And then you use that momentum.
Yeah, you build on
to tackle the bigger ones.
And it's interesting because I feel like, different personalities might resonate with one over the other.
Totally.
Depends on what motivates you, right?
Yeah, some people need that quick win to stay motivated. Others, they're like, no, I'm just going to go straight for the jugular.
Straight for the big one, get this done.
Yeah, whatever works for you. But the point is to have a plan.
Exactly.
Right. Don't just let it sit there and fester.
Yeah, because that high interest debt, it's like a weed in your garden.
It is. It'll choke out everything else.
You got to pull it out at the root.
All right, so we've talked about budgeting, compound interest, emergency funds, and the importance of tackling high interest debt.
Yeah.
And these are all, we're just scratching the surface here, folks.
The tip of the iceberg. Okay?
These are all really important foundational elements.
They are, like the essential building blocks.
And in our next segment, we're going to dive into some more, so don't touch that dial.
Stay tuned. And we're back, folks, diving deeper into these 15 personal finance lessons everybody needs to know.
Yeah, these are game changers.
Seriously, these are the things that I wish I had known.
Yeah.
Way back when.
Totally.
So where we left off, we were talking about kind of the foundations, right? Budgeting, compound interest, emergency funds, tackling that high interest debt.
The basics.
But now let's talk about something a little more, exciting.
Ooh, the fun stuff.
Yeah, the fun stuff. Investing.
Yeah.
And this resource, it hammers home the importance of diversification.
Yeah, you got to spread that risk.
And spread it around. You don't want all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly, because you never know what's going to happen in the market.
Exactly.
So you want to make sure that you're protected.
Okay, so practically speaking, what are we talking about here?
So instead of just putting all your money into one stock or one bond,
right,
you want to diversify across different asset classes. So stocks, bonds, real estate, maybe even things like commodities or precious metals.
So how do you even begin to do that if you're not a financial expert?
Right. And that's where things like index funds and ETFs come in.
Okay, hold on. Break those down for me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like those get thrown around a lot.
They do.
And people might not really know what they are.
So an index fund, think of it like you're investing in the entire stock market with one purchase.
Oh, wow.
So instead of having to pick and choose individual stocks.
Which is what a lot of people think you have to do.
Right, which can be really intimidating and time-consuming.
You have to watch the market all the time. No, thank you.
So an index fund, it tracks a specific market index, like the S&P 500.
Okay.
So you're instantly diversified across hundreds of companies.
That's amazing.
It is. And ETFs, they're kind of similar
to
baskets of assets, but they trade on stock exchanges, like individual stocks.
Okay.
So you can buy and sell them throughout the day.
Got it.
But they still offer that diversification benefit.
So it's built-in diversification.
Exactly. It's like diversification on autopilot.
I love that.
Right. Easy peasy.
Okay, so we've got our investments diversified, but this resource also talks about something I think is super important, and that's employer benefits.
Oh, yeah, free money.
Free money.
Don't leave it on the table.
Why would you ever leave free money on the table?
I know, right?
So this is specifically talking about things like retirement accounts, 401ks, 403bs, all that good stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of employers, they offer matching contributions.
Yeah, they'll match what you put in.
It's free money.
It's like they're giving you a raise and then saying, but you have to save it for retirement?
Exactly. And the best part is that money, it grows tax deferred.
Oh, yeah. The tax advantages are huge. Yes. So it's like a double whammy of benefits.
It really is. So if your employer offers a match, take advantage of it.
Max it out.
Max it out. Absolutely.
Even if it means like maybe you can't afford that daily latte anymore, prioritize that match.
Because in the long run, that latte is not going to make or break you.
It's not, but that match could.
Exactly.
All right, so we're talking about investing for retirement, and this ties into the idea of starting early, right?
Oh my gosh, yes. The earlier, the better.
Compound interest is our friend.
It's all about that snowball effect.
Snowballing our way to retirement.
Exactly.
Even if you can only put in a little bit right now, just start.
Something is better than nothing.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, but let's switch gears a bit and talk about something that's not just about the numbers, but about our mindset and our habits.
The mental game.
Yeah, because money is so much more than just, what's in your bank account.
Oh, absolutely. It's emotional.
It's emotional. It's psychological.
It's tied to our beliefs, our values.
Exactly. And this resource emphasizes the importance of living below your means.
Which doesn't mean, like, depriving yourself.
No, it doesn't mean being miserable.
It's not about that.
It's about being mindful.
Exactly. It's about making intentional choices with your money.
So, practically speaking, what does that look like?
Well, it starts with understanding the difference between your needs and your wants.
Right. Needs versus wants.
Do you need that fancy new gadget?
Or do you just want it?
Or do you just want it?
Because there's a big difference.
There is a big difference.
And I think sometimes, we get caught up in this cycle of
keeping up with the Joneses.
Yes.
Social media doesn't help.
Oh, social media is terrible for that.
It's like everyone's always on vacation.
Living their best life.
Driving fancy cars.
And we feel like we need to keep up.
And we feel inadequate if we're not.
And that's not true.
It's a highlight reel.
Exactly.
It's not real life.
So living below your means is about, like, taking a step back and saying, what truly matters to me?
Yes. What are my values?
Yes.
What are my goals?
How can I align my spending with those things?
Exactly. It's about making choices that support your long-term well-being.
Instead of just instant gratification.
Yes, because instant gratification fades quickly.
It does, but that financial freedom.
That lasts.
That lasts. Okay, so mindset is huge.
Huge.
And we're back for the third and final part of our personal finance deep dive.
The home stretch.
I feel like we could talk about this stuff for days.
Oh, for sure. There's always more to learn, right?
Always more to learn. Exactly. So much wisdom out there.
Yeah.
But we're going to wrap things up with some final but very crucial lessons.
Let's do it.
So where we left off, we were talking about the importance of mindset and habits. And this resource really emphasizes the power of setting financial goals.
Oh, yeah. Goals are huge.
It's like you don't get in your car and just start driving without a destination in mind, right?
Exactly. You got to know where you're going.
So with financial goals, it's about defining what success looks like for you.
And it's so personal, right?
It is super personal.
Yeah.
What are your dreams? What do you want to achieve with your money?
Maybe it's buying a house, early retirement, traveling the world, starting your own business, whatever gets you fired up.
It's about figuring out what lights your fire.
Exactly. And then creating a plan to make it happen.
This resource talks about setting SMART goals. Have you heard of that?
Oh, yeah. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. It's like a recipe for success.
It's like taking those big dreams and breaking them down into bite-sized, actionable steps.
Exactly. So instead of saying, I want to be rich, which is kind of vague and overwhelming.
Right. Like, how do you measure that?
Exactly. You'd say something like, I want to save $20,000 for a down payment on a condo in the next 3 years. See how much more concrete and doable that sounds?
It feels way more manageable.
Exactly. It's about breaking down those big dreams into manageable steps. And here's a pro tip this resource highlighted. Connect your goals to your values. If you know why you're saving that down payment, maybe it's to create a space where your family can grow and thrive. Suddenly, that goal becomes much more motivating.
Motivation is key. Because let's be real, sticking to financial goals isn't always easy. This resource also talks about regular financial reviews. I like to think of it like tending a garden. You wouldn't just plant some seeds and forget about them, right? You'd weed water and make adjustments as needed to help those plants thrive.
Exactly. Regular financial checkups are essential. It's about making sure your budget, your investments, your insurance, all of it is still aligned with your current situation and goals. Life throws curveballs sometimes, and your financial plan needs to be flexible enough to adapt.
Speaking of curveballs, we can't talk about personal finance without mentioning insurance, right? It's like that safety net you hope you never need, but are eternally grateful to have if you do.
Insurance is all about protecting yourself from those big, unexpected financial hits, whether it's a health issue, a car accident, or damage to your home.
Right. It's about having that peace of mind, knowing that you're protected if the unexpected happens. Now, I know we don't want to get bogged down in details, but we can't wrap up this personal finance deep dive without at least mentioning taxes.
Absolutely, taxes are a fact of life. But they don't have to be a burden. Understanding the basics, taking advantage of deductions, and planning ahead can make a big difference.
Okay, I'm adding taxes to my financial to-do list.
Mhm.
But before we sign off, this resource left me thinking about one last but very important lesson, cultivating a wealth mindset. What exactly does that mean?
It's about more than just dollars and cents. It's
Hmm.
about believing in your ability to achieve financial well-being. It's about shifting your perspective from scarcity to abundance, from I can't afford that to how can I make that happen?
I love that. It's like that saying, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Your mindset really does shape your reality.
And the beautiful thing is a wealth mindset is something you can cultivate. It's about practicing gratitude, focusing on your goals, and surrounding yourself with positive influences who support your financial growth.
It's so true. Well, there you have it, folks. 15 personal finance lessons to set you on the path to financial success. We've covered everything from budgeting and investing to the importance of mindset and even those sometimes dreaded taxes.
And remember, this is just the beginning. The most important step is to take action.
Exactly. What's one financial habit you can change today to start building a stronger financial future? It could be as simple as downloading a budgeting app, setting up an automatic transfer to your savings account, or even just picking up that personal finance book you've been meaning to read. Every journey starts with a single step.
You've got this.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into personal finance. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep into the things that matter most.